must be 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time somewhere out because it's time for another edition of Hardison's Tips. I'm your host, Brandon Hardison. Glad to be with you on this beautiful Friday, the 14th of May. We are halfway there. Still have another halfway to go, whatever you're selling. We do this for key account, major account, up and down the street, in home sales, retail sales, automotive sales. We're all brothers and sisters that are always running on a month to month term. This is how we do our business, and we just like to give you some tips every now and then to keep you sharp. Now, all week we've been talking about people who spend some or most of their time on the phone, a unique animal because of the neuro linguistic programming that we talked about earlier. Since they cannot see you, since they cannot smell your cologne or perfume, since they cannot see how handsome you are, or how strong you are, or how your typing abilities, none of that comes into play except your auditory. How you can show them using tonality, using emphasis, you're restating what they state, and getting emotional about what you're telling them. That's going to give them that pleasure point, or it's going to alleviate that pain that they currently have. So, this skill everyone needs. Some of our brothers and sisters specialize on just the phone because they can get people to do some tremendous things on it. So, not keeping you any longer, our last part of it, we're going to talk about sort your calling every morning. Sort your lists. When you think of phone sales tips, sorting your call list should be one of the first things you start the day with. While there is nothing wrong with doing blitz style calling, in fact, I encourage this type of hyper focus. But if you want to stay organized, we need to make sure that our day, our shift is prepared. As a sales development representative, this will always be the first thing that you do arriving to your desk as you're powering up, getting ready for your day, getting your research in. The most effective technique is to first sort by last call date, and then those with a specific follow up date assigned to that particular account. If you're currently using a CRM, I don't care what brand, use it. It's there for a reason. It's your buddy, it's your lifesaver if you put in good, copious notes. The machine is so robust, it will remind you of a plethora of things that you had with each individual conversation because you're not going to remember it all. But if you put it in the CRM, it will give you those tidbits if you were having a good conversation with the guest, trying to see if your product fits into their needs and wants. Any CRM archives, and when they archive, this is where the strength comes back to you because I guarantee you, once again, you're not going to remember everything. Then, most what people hate, especially adults, and I coached youngsters on a middle and high school level. So now with adults, It doesn't change, and that is practice. One of the best tips I can give you is please practice on the phone. Practice your pitch, practice your tonality, practice your emphasis, practice everything, facial expressions, standing up, moving around. The more you practice, the better you're going to be. Or I'll say it this way: the more you practice and you bleed in practice, you're going to be more effective when you're on the phone. Because while the guest is saying a response, you may look at it as an objective, but they're responding. You already know which way you're going to pivot. So please practice. Listening is one of the biggest things that all of us have a challenge with. I don't care if you're in school. I don't care if you're a parent or guardian. I don't care if you have a significant other. We just don't like to listen. While this may seem like the easiest sales call technique to mention, it's the most difficult. From our first day in sales, we're equipped with so much information about our products to offer. We naturally want to share it with everyone. For the lack of a better term, we do verbal vomiting all over the prospect because we want to tell. We must use these things called ears and listen for their needs, wants, and desires, and then position your product or services accordingly. You cannot do it unless you actively listen. Now, this is not due to your product service because it may not. You can refer them to something else, but it's your job to do that. Listening to your prospects can help avoid a lot of miscommunications. When we interject quickly or interrupt frequently, being your manager, they're there to help you. This could confuse some guests. So allow your prospects to speak, and it only benefits you and them. Now, is there more things that we can talk about when it comes to phone skills? Yes, there is. But we just wanted to take the time because we've talked about a lot of things for our brothers and sisters and key account, major account, up and down the street, retail, and home sales. But we haven't said anything about those brothers and sisters that are on the phone. I hope you got something out of it. We'll do some more of this. But on this Friday, the 14th, halfway through the month, let's make sure we go out there and get what we need for you and your family to keep living and enjoying the quality of life. So, Brandon Hardison, as always, in parting, you go out there and you make it a champion day.